Okay, here we go. Hello, good morning, everybody. I've been talking about the variable speed of light for a while. Been talking about the variable rate of time for going back 10 years. And realized that it's not just the changing of time, it's also the changing of distance. But anyways, I don't know if how much anybody been following me on this or the train of thought. But it turns out that I've been watching a number of videos where there's a lot of people agreeing with what I'm saying. I mean, to me, it's so obvious, but I just wanted to show this one video where it shows that Einstein was saying the same thing I've been saying as as a mechanic. But of course, he's got the math and everything, so he shows the math of everything that I've been talking about, at least to some extent. I don't hear him talking so much about the changing of distance, but he probably included that in the equation, but I don't think people get it yet. It's not just the variable time, it's a variable measure of distance, both of which contribute to change the speed of light relative to where you are, depending on where you are, depending on how much gravity there is. So let me go ahead and show this video. And let me see. And then we'll talk about it. So this is Einstein's variable speed of light right here. So let's go ahead, and I don't know where it's going to start playing at, but let me see what happens.
In 1905, Einstein developed his theory of special relativity. It was an explanation of how speed affects mass, time, and space. It included a way for the speed of light to define the relationship between energy and matter. In it, he defined that the speed of light was constant. What many people may not be aware of is that Einstein did not hold this view for long, and would start to develop a theory which would allow for a variable speed of light. Let's dive in.
Okay, so he developed a theory that would allow for the variable speed of light.
And find out more. 2 years after publishing his paper on special relativity, he wrote the following in a paper on the relativity principle and the conclusions drawn from it. These equations too have the same form as the corresponding equations of the non-accelerated or gravitation-free space. However, c is here replaced by the value c open brackets 1 plus gamma xi over c squared close brackets is equal to c open brackets 1 plus phi over c squared close brackets. From this, it follows that those light rays that do not propagate along the xi-axis are bent by the gravitational field.
Okay, whenever you talk about the bending of time and space, the curvature of time and space, gravitational lensing, anytime you reference that, you're talking about the variable speed of light.
This shows his thinking towards a concept where the velocity of light is altered by the gravitational potential. In 1911, he wrote a paper on the influence of...
Okay, what was that? The velocity of light is altered by the gravitational potential. This is everything I've been saying for the past years or whatever.
Of gravity on the propagation of light, and said the following. If c0 denotes the velocity of light at a coordinate origin, then the velocity of light c at a point with a gravitational potential phi will be given by the relation c is equal to c0 in brackets 1 plus phi over c squared close bracket. The principle of the constancy of the velocity of light does not hold in this theory in the formulation in which it is normally used as the basis of ordinary theory of relativity. Some might claim that Einstein developed his theory of the variable speed of light and then abandoned it. But if we follow his writings, we find he keeps going on about this point.
Okay, so Einstein kept on talking about the variable speed of light, but people kind of ignored it for a number of different reasons, and they just kept on talking about the constancy of the speed of light. But the speed of light is only constant in a given frame of reference where you are locally. It's like I even wrote a whole book on it, the local speed.
1912, he wrote, "On the other hand, I am of the view that the principle of the constancy of the velocity of light can be maintained only insofar as one restricts oneself to the spatio-temporal regions of constant."
Only when one restricts oneself to spatio-temporal regions of the constant gravitational potential. If gravity is constant, then the speed of light is constant. If gravity is not constant and it changes, which it does everywhere throughout the universe, then the speed of light is not constant. It's like I'm a mechanic, and this stuff is so obvious to me.
Gravitational potential. A little later, in 1913, he wrote, "I arrived at the results that the velocity of light is not to be regarded as independent of the gravitational potential. Thus, the principle of the constancy of the velocity of light is incompatible with the equivalence hypothesis." Then later in 1914, in the case where we drop the postulate of the constancy of the velocity of light, there exists a priori no privileged coordinate system.
So it depends on the coordinate system, and it depends on how much gravity there is in that system or where you are locally.
And in 1915, the writer of these lines is of the opinion that the theory of relativity is still in need of generalization, in the sense that the principle of the constancy of the velocity of light is to be abandoned. Then in 1916, in the second place, our results show that, according to the general theory of relativity, the law of constancy of the velocity of light in vacuo, which constitutes one of the two fundamental assumptions in the special theory of relativity, and to which we have already frequently referred, cannot claim any unlimited validity. A curvature of rays of light can only take place when the velocity of propagation of light varies with position.
Okay, the curvature can only take place where the velocity is not the same. In other words, with a variable speed of light. That's what the curvature, that's what gravitational lensing is. That's what a lens does. It slows down light more in one place than it does in the outer lying regions. And there's some simulations that show this too, which I probably won't be able to get into right now, but it's just they ignored it. And then he goes in and explains why they ignored his what he was saying, what Albert Einstein himself was saying about the variable speed of light.
And then in 1920, second, this consequence shows that the law of constancy of the speed of light no longer holds. According to the
constancy of the speed of light no longer holds according to the general theory of relativity. What have I been saying? If general relativity is true, then the speed of light is not constant. It's like I don't know what's wrong with these people. They just ignore what he was saying.
general theory of relativity in spaces that have gravitational fields. As a simple geometric consideration shows, the curvature of light rays occurs only in spaces where the speed of light is spatially variable. Einstein's
See that? The curvature of light only exists where the speed of light is variable. This is what I've been saying. This is everything I've been saying for the past year or so. And I guess people don't like teaching facts or something. I don't know what the problem is. Einstein's ideas remained relatively unknown because of a series of coincidences. One, that his theory was proven.
ideas remained relatively unknown because of a series of coincidences. In 1919, Eddington's solar eclipse observations were seen as confirmation of Einstein's 1915 form of general relativity, where the curve.
Okay, so he goes into explaining that his theory of general relativity is true, and the curvature of space and all that stuff, but they're just ignoring the changing of the velocity of light somehow. But anyways, it's probably going to go into a commercial or something, but this, I don't want to play too much because, it'll be too long. Anyway, see what's going on here. Rebuke and reprove, grace and peace. So it turns out everything I've been saying is confirmed by what Albert Einstein himself was saying. And people just ignore what he was saying. And you can watch the video yourself. Einstein's variable speed of light. See the pattern. I mean, it's crazy how people ignore things like that. And I'm not so sure that people have been following what I've been saying either about this stuff. But I've been trying to explain it, and then turns out that I'm just repeating everything Einstein said 50 years ago, whatever it was. It's crazy. Anyways, everybody take care. God bless. Einstein agrees with the speed of light depending on gravity. And it's everything I've been talking about. Hey, Doki. There's Doki. And there's reprove and rebuke. See ya. Take care. God bless everybody. And have a nice rest of the week. And just be assured or encouraged that I'm not just talking about random things. I'm actually seeing something, and it's actually confirmed by Einstein himself. So there you have it. God bless everybody. Take care.